If you follow the SEA Esports Atlas Facebook page, you may be confused as to why they suddenly released a response statement with regards to Kakarot, a former player of the team. Before we begin, a disclaimer. The contract that the statements refer to is not available to the public, so in this video, facts are based on what is released by the parties involved. Now before things blew up, let's rewind to April 26. On that day, SE Atlas posted on their socials the release of Kakarot from their team. 2 weeks later, on May 10, Kakarot released a statement of his current situation and about leaving SE Atlas. That the decision to leave the team was due to burnout. And after informing the team of his plans to leave, EJ was contacted to be the new 5th man. This is also where the public learns about the buyout. That he is restricted from playing for other teams and competing until he buys out of the contract, a non-compete clause. Under Philippine law, a non-compete clause is a valid clause in an employment contract that restricts a former employee from starting a business or working for a competitor in the same industry within a specified time, trade, and place. This is a standard practice in most contracts of professional athletes. Moving on, we do not know the buyout price as it is confidential, but it is stated to not be a small amount. He also states that he can't compete even if the team he is in has no organization. He tells people, especially aspiring pros and current pros, to pay attention to the contracts, to read and review them carefully. The statement in the end seemed to be positive. He found a new team to play with which had no organization or a sponsor, wishing well to his former teammates, thanking his supporters, and in a way looking for options to pay his buyout. Throughout the offseason, Kakarot and his new team, which still had no organization backing them or even a sponsor, joined in tournaments like the Valorant PH Rambulan, and even qualifying as well in Steel Series Prime Tournament playoffs. I assume, based on his previous statement of the non-compete clause, that the buyout was fully paid, hence him playing in several tournaments this off-season. But this may not have been the case. Just this weekend, June 12th, Kakarot tweeted about being stripped from his earnings when SE Atlas won the Predator Kings of PH tournament last February. In the screenshot, it is seen that the reason behind not receiving his share was due to him not paying his buyout, which to my surprise was not yet paid, even after his original statement that he could not compete even if the team had no organization. He then followed up by insinuating said org. A few hours later, SE Atlas responded with regards to this. They first explained about the initial decision of Kakarot being burnt out, trying to help him with the options he could take to improve his situation, such as taking a break in the bootcamp. However, Kakarot decided to not do so and flew back to Manila on the org's expense. Before Kakarot left, the organization reminded him of the conditions of his contract. He must either wait out his 1-year contract to end, which I do not have information on how long was actually left, or the buyout is fully paid. If these conditions are not fulfilled, he is barred from playing for any other professional team. Different from Kakarot's first statement, but we will get back to this information later with regards to the pro team or not pro team. A month after the release of Kakarot, he reached out to the organization and was negotiating about being able to compete once again with a new team with the buyout still not yet being paid. However, they did not come to an agreement. Kakarot then proceeded to compete with the buyout unpaid, clearly breaching the contract. SE Atlas, however, did not take any further legal action to this fact and has let go of the issue. With the prize money in question, which Kakarot tweeted about, the organization has stated that they used his share of the money towards his unpaid buyout. The statement ends with the organization sharing the goals of SE Atlas and a reminder or lesson to aspiring players out there about the importance of contracts. Kakarot did not stay silent and expounded on some things in the SE Atlas statement. He called out the org, stating that them meeting about how the org offered help was total BS, and that it seemed that there was no way for him to get back in the roster because of EJ, former SV Empire player, has seemed to have already agreed on some terms with the organization. He did not clarify if the organization was not willing to have substitutes or have him as a bench player, but it seems from his statement that there was no place for him in the organization anymore. He further clarifies on the meeting with SE Atlas on competing once again. He states, "I did not ask if I can join another professional team." He asked if he could play for a random team because of the drive to join tournaments and compete once again. He explains further that the team he was in had no organization, no sponsor either. Hence, how could it be defined as a pro team? Now, backtracking to Kakarot's May 10th statement and SE Atlas statement, due to the fact that the contract is not open to the public, we don't know what's the actual written conditions of the non-compete clause. Is Kakarot barred from playing in any team, or is it just in professional teams? Next, if it's just professional teams, does the contract define what a pro team is? So this portion of the buyout can only be fully understood by the people involved in the contract. In the meeting, he also asked about the possibility of paying the buyout monthly, as paying it in full was too expensive. However, the organization did not agree to this. We do not know if it was written in the contract how the payment structure for buyouts should be, so we do not know why the organization chose to not agree. He later on asked the org if they could just release him from the contract, as they were able to find a replacement for him, quite quickly and in a way, a better player. To which SE Atlas turned down and referred back to the fact that he signed a contract. Lastly, with the prize money, which may have started this online blowout, it seems that SE Atlas did not inform Kakarot about the organization receiving the winnings and what they did with his shares, only until a month after. But I would like to reiterate that we do not know what is written in the contract, with how prize winnings are handled, the players get a share, and how those shares are distributed. We do not know as well if there's anything written in the contract if there's a clause between prize winnings and unpaid buyouts. However, Kakarot should have been notified instantly that his prize-winning shares would be set off for the buyout. He closes his response stating that SE Atlas has also failed to fulfill something in the contract. There have been no further online statements from SE Atlas with regards to the situation, as well as from Kakarot, and I believe there will be no updates till a resolution has been arrived at between both parties. We, the public, do not know the entire details of the situation and the contract, and only have the release statements to refer to. Any conclusion we make is just purely speculation. But there is a lesson here. Players, just like in any job, read the contract, review it, and negotiate. Know what you're getting yourself into. And for the organizations out there, fulfill your obligations to your players. Think about the players you're hiring and make sure they understand what they're getting themselves into. What do you guys think about the situation? Comment down below and don't forget to like and share this video. I'm TheJoaquiGamer and I'll see you guys in the next post-plant chat.